All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Thursday, June 16th. Great to see Leda, Kathleen, Jeff, Henry, Glenn, Ray, Mark, Kurt, Deb, Renzo, and all of us joining us live inside the trading room. Great to see all of you back on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, but you could tell this is not the voice of Fausto Pugliese. I told you folks Fausto would be back in the saddle come today. I'm tagging in for him once more here this morning. He has a couple of family things going on. So with that said, folks, let's hop right to it. We have the ADN stock just on the screen to begin. Another runner over 100%. So actually, just to go back to yesterday, right? Because when we were in class yesterday, we had the SIDU stock, and that was just completely exploding, right? And for those of us that were with me in class, I mean, the biggest thing with being a student and being in class is to, put your focus in that class and not multitask and trade and double dip, right? That's how you lose focus in class. That's how you lose focus on the position that you're trading. So one or the other, right? Well, this was completely ripping yesterday afternoon when we were in class. So it might be easy to say like, oh no, I can't believe I missed out on this SIDU. This thing just went from like 3 or 250, I think it was 280ish, all the way up to like 6. There's always going to be another stock, folks. There's always going to be another runner every week, if not almost every day. So not only is ADN running here in pre-market, but obviously look at the SIDU here once again. Ended up making another big pop this morning in pre-market itself. So there is opportunity every single day, folks. Don't get too upset or frustrated that you missed a runner. Market's going nowhere, folks, and even in down times, down markets, the SPY is gap down yet again this morning in pre-market. That doesn't stop us from finding these trades. So you need to be a little less emotional. You need to be a little bit more disciplined and focused and say, all right, if I can't catch the stock across the afternoon, let's wake up tomorrow and get right back to it. So with that said, I know a couple of us jumped in on the ADN stock just before, a couple of us also on the SIDU stock just earlier too. Robert and Gene getting about 15, 19 cents on their last trades there on the SIDU. Hey, easily enough, I'll just start off by putting both of them just on the watch list, SIDU and the ADN trade. Now, to go over each of these, pretty in particular, the SIDU, we ended up seeing a bunch of buying yesterday, beginning in pre-market at $2.80. And I'll tell you, this thing was a dud throughout most of the day. Well, actually, going into the afternoon meeting, going into 2 o'clock, that was actually the perfect time for us to revisit this trade as it was beginning to move back up to that same level, that 280 big buying level. So it took a couple of shakes, but once it rebroke that level, obviously the rest is history. It just goes to show that you need to be disciplined and you need to identify where your big volume levels are first. And then it gives you a lot better chance to react and be in the moment and pull the trigger when you should. So this was the perfect play that we had from yesterday afternoon, right off the 280 level. From there, completely exploded. But yeah, I mean, heading into the morning today, you would expect to see a bit of a pullback, but I mean, it's up 62% from the close. So we may happen to see one more pop after the open, and then for the extreme drawback down. I mean, just look what happened back in the beginning of May, folks, right? So this stock also had a big pop to it back in the beginning of May, where it ended up opening at 395. Hit a high of 450 at that time. So it looks like most of the run it had here was from pre-market. Well, long story short, you don't want to get stuck in this, right? So that could easily happen here today when the volume dies off on a stock like this. Normally, that is what happens. So, I would definitely be mindful of that after the open. You're already starting to see a bit of a drop back from 8. And then the ADN stock, this thing is still holding really strong right now. You have a couple of orders on the ask at 265 and 270. They're not really that big. In the grand scheme of the volume, the stock is trading minute by minute. So, it still looks really good for right now. I'm going to put this on our list, like I'd said. I don't think there was as much news. Well, no, I'm sorry. There was news on SIDU yesterday. I believe it was like phase 2 news, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, the ADN news that we had come out from this morning in pre-market. Let's take a look and read it from Benzinga Pro. ADN shares trading higher after the company announced it received notification of 752 million euros of funding from the Greek state of the IPCEI Green Project. All right. Nice headline. That's a lot of money, I'd imagine. So I don't know my euro to USD calculations, folks. So I'm imagining that still to be a lot of money, at least. With that said, great reaction so far. You certainly hope to see it continue. If anything, this stock's already back to levels that we had back from April of this past year. So if you look back on the daily chart, this seems like it actually bottomed out pretty nicely above 2 before it eventually broke it and then kind of fell lower. So perhaps 2 here could be a nice support level coming up after the open. On a drop back down here, perhaps 2 or even 195 here perhaps could act as a major support. All right, so there's going to be a lot more aside from these 2 today, folks. Like we had said from yesterday afternoon, we're coming off the Fed meeting. So actually, if we look really briefly on the 5-minute chart, I know I referenced the SPY gapping down again this morning, the S&P, but coming off the Fed meeting, we did have a nice pop, good reaction. And I told you folks, don't look for a bigger squeeze up. A lot of times coming off the Fed meeting, not guaranteed, but certainly now I'm going to say more often than not, you know what we get? We get an initial reaction coming off the Fed that day, yesterday it popped. But then we happen to see a complete reversal. So I'm going to think about that a lot more going forward. More often than not, I'm going to expect to see that happen. And obviously, the markets are back down again here this morning. So, we'll see what else is out there on the gainer side. I'm sure we could find some stocks that could be down big, following the market perhaps too. Let's see. All right, so HSCS here, it's a new IPO actually from yesterday. Heart Test Laboratories Inc. No other data on it aside from what we had yesterday. Only traded 1.5 million shares yesterday. Hey, this morning pre-market, it's already getting up there, catching close. So it's active here this morning. It's up big. It's not technically breaking all-time highs. It's under yesterday's high so far, 375. If you want to call this all-time high data, go ahead. For right now, I'm still going to say, though, it needs to really break above 375, yesterday's high, in order for this to actually have like uncharted territory. So, I'll put it on our list. I like the other 2 a lot more, though, first, the ADN and the SIDU. All right, so Richard called out VIVK earlier, kind of light volume, so I appreciate him saying that because when a stock is trading pretty thin volume on the book, this is exactly what could happen once the momentum dies off. So we ended up seeing the initial pop, definitely a lot of selling coming in here as it snapped below 260 and 250. Right now until it easily breaks back above that and flips 250, 260 as support, I wouldn't really have any business on this VIVK trade. Seems like one of those just pop and drop type of stocks that you want to be careful of. Redbox, RDBX, so, it's up 19% pre-market, trading a ton of volume. So we're going to put this on our list, but more so for the sake that it's a stock that we're really familiar with, right? So it's not our first rodeo with Redbox. We've been following this stock pretty much every single day since late April, early May here. So right now, I'll put Redbox on our list. I don't have the level 4 open right now, folks, so I apologize. I would show you that if I had the chance to. I would assume for major levels to be off the whole numbers. If anything, though, if we go back to yesterday's trading, the close from yesterday, that also will be a pretty big level to follow. So that being off 1096. I'll see if it reaches that low, but I would assume 1096, yesterday's close, to complement 11 as a backup support level. All right, one of us referenced AERC earlier, and take a look. AERC up 10% again this morning, made a big push yesterday, completely exploded. I ended up missing this trade completely off the 1525 break, and then from there, I was trying to get filled off 1750 on a pullback, and this thing just kept going. So there was no room for a pullback at first, and when there was, it didn't really give you as much of an opportunity heading into the market close. Hey, for this morning, easily enough, I'll put this on our list. But unless if you're more of a level 4 or 5 trader, and again, just for all of us in our room, like you got to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Are you actually a level 4 or 5 trader? If you are, I would suggest for you to put more of a focus on this AERC. If you are not, I would not suggest for you to put as much of a focus on this stock. There's definitely better trades between the SIDU and ADN, even Redbox. Redbox is going to be a lot more liquid, than this AERC trade is. It'll be a lot easier to follow level 3 for that reason in mind. All right, so AERC, we'll put some shine on the stock again, but man, this thing is going to come screaming back down eventually, and that's going to be quite ugly. ETFs here, SQQQ, UVXY, SPXU, SPXX. All right, I saw CMRA from Chris. I think I skipped over that here, right? And I appreciate the shout from Chris inside our live trading room. We called this out off the pop. Unfortunately, now, though, it pulled back down. So, obviously, you'd like to think it's going to continue to pull back after this nasty shake. High of the day back from Tuesday this week was at 437, and it held under there yesterday, generally speaking. So I would definitely want to see this hold above Tuesday's high, 437, as a major support in order to see any sort of continuation later on. I'm not a fan of this pullback down right now, Chris. So I'll keep this on our side list, that is. It's up big, trading 3.1 million shares, but it needed to hold a lot better here, in my opinion. Maybe after the open, we'll call it out. All right, EBIX. Geez, what the heck happened here? The stock is easy to borrow on my platform this morning. It's down 38%. EBIX, let's see. It doesn't give me any specific news on this company. Just says shares of several companies in the broader technology sector are trading lower following the CPI numbers recently. But there has to be some other headline. I'm not going to fish for it right now, folks. It's down enough. It's trading enough volume to capture our interest. Is this stock breaking all-time lows? I don't think so, but we'll see. Yeah. Not all-time lows, but certainly multi-year lows at that, and it is shortable. So I don't mind putting this on our list either. If the order book is very thin, I would be careful. I wouldn't put as much focus on it, should that be the case. But, it's down enough, trending down beautifully here, shortable still. All right, we got cold natural gas ETF down big today. So I think that means UNG should be up. FNGU. This is the one I always think is an ETF, and it is. So this one down big. We're going to pass on it. It was shortable, so just wanted to click on it pretty quickly. But I'll tell you, folks, otherwise, unless if there was like a known name, familiar stock that we're pretty, used to here, down big, and it looks good, then I'll tell you what, I think that we're pretty much wrapped up here. I'm sure there could be a lot more that's down 5%, 4%, maybe 6%, but no other familiar names that I see across the loser side right now. All right, so for all of us live inside the trading room, live inside YouTube right now, the stream, if there's any other stocks, let me know. AERC, we already have, Chuck. Already went over. We'll go through some side list stocks, maybe like a NEO that could go with the market. It's down 4+%. It is shortable. I'll keep it on the side for right now. American Airlines, you could say the same thing on, down nearly 3% at pre-market lows. It's shortable. Could be good. Check out like an AMC here. It's been hard to borrow my platform lately. So, if you can't get shares to short it, there's not much business to do with it if the markets are going to continue to drop. Anything else, folks? Ford slow. Ricardo says, Rev, halt, chapter 11. What next? Well, Rev's a day trade. Every call out that we make, Ricardo, in our live trading room is a day trade. So if you ended up swing trading this, I'm sorry, we knew this stock had chapter 11 yesterday. We talked about that live inside our trading room. Every single call out that we make here in our room is meant as a day trade. You never want to turn a day trade into an overnighter. There is a distinct difference between a swing trade and a day trade, and you should know that the second that you press buy. So, that's where I say at least you could still, lose on swing trades, and you got to set stops and make sure that you understand where the stock is going to move to next. But for Rev B, the stock was trending down. We had the nice pop over the last couple of days, but again, when the volume dies off on a stock like this, there was nothing to do with the stock after 10:30 yesterday. So I hope nobody's swing trading this. I wish you the best if this ends up reopening up a bit down. But right now, There's nothing on this. As you had said, it's halted, so there's no volume being traded on this right now. So until it opens, we're going to pass on it. If it does open and it gaps up, then we'll call it out. Then we'll be there to try and react to it. All right, folks, I will tell you right now, we got 6 stocks to work with heading into the market open. And then I'm sure aside from that, a couple that are on our side list already, like a NEO or maybe like a cruise line or airline, perhaps otherwise. All right, for all of us live inside YouTube and Facebook Live, I appreciate you sticking with me once more this week here in the morning. At this point, I would be led to believe that I will be in tomorrow to do the morning meeting again, but Fausto should be back next week on Tuesday. Why Monday? Why Tuesday and not Monday? Because markets are closed Monday, folks. Keep that in mind. A little reminder, Juneteenth on the 20th, it is being recognized within the market. So markets are closed on the 20th, Monday next week. Joanne says, my dog loved you whistle out in the yard barking. Oh, no. Hopefully he didn't love me too much there. Hopefully he can calm down there. But I had a student mention that earlier, Joanne, earlier in the week. I said, I'm a decent whistler. I appreciate that. Been practicing. All right, folks, if you have any questions, feel more than free to send over a quick email, josh@c2trading.com. That goes to all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, that is, to continue the audio commentary that we have, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the blue banner below to get yourself started. For right now, we're going to be busy and focused on SIDU, ADN, and the others here that we have on the morning watch list. I look forward to talking to you all coming up at the opening bell. Take care.
A Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it